Well, welcome back. It's what the heck? It's January the 18th. It's a Thursday night, January the 18th, 2024. Having some more snow. So this is the state of things on January 18th, 2024. So welcome back to the Hotel Orloff after dark. So let's see, the last time we met, I think it was Sunday. A lot of the same snow and ice is there from Sunday. And so I don't know if work is going to be canceled tomorrow yet. If it is, then we'll look at some more funny books, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Monday, the snow and ice was pretty bad, but I went to the caucus, and I got two of these amazing Trump signs. And in the county, there were 301. Well, somewhere I wrote it down. Let me see. Did I bring it up here? Where did I put it? Man, I had it. Where? Anyway, I don't know. I think Vivek Ramaswamy got like one vote. It's a small county. And Nikki Haley got 17 votes. I think that, what's his name? Florida guy. Whatever his name is. The governor of Florida got, I think, 45 votes or something. And then there were, hold on. I don't know, man. Where did I write that down? I had it here. I think I'm telling you wrong. I had it here somewhere. Anyway, regardless, Trump got 301 votes, and so I guess they would have had 300, but my vote was the 301st vote. So anyway, historic caucus. When we last left off, we were talking about the 1970s, and we were looking at Cracked magazine. Now, Cracked magazine was a wonderful magazine, and it wasn't quite as wonderful as the 70s went on, and it turned into the 1980s, but then nothing was really as good during that time period. I mean, absolutely nothing. Life in general. But Cracked had the great John Severin art. Will I turn that sound down? Watching old cartoons here. Come on, man. Shoot. I gotta charge this. Never mind. Oh.
Most peculiar. Take a look, sir. I've never seen anything like that before. Have you, Commander?
Where?
I don't know what it is either.
Oh, I see.
Maybe Dr. Mariner will be able to tell us.
Let's hope
So,
I believe your father gets back from his secret mission today.
anyway,
Doesn't he, Marine Boy?
Cracked magazine was started as an imitation of Mad, and always was an imitation of Mad, but it was a fun magazine. Oh, here it is. I had it here all along. Okay. Someone named Hutchinson got 0 votes. Ramaswamy got 5 votes. DeSantis got 65 votes. Haley got 14 votes. And Trump got 131 votes. I was completely wrong. So it's an even smaller county than you thought. Anyway, so I was of the 131 votes, I was the 131st. That's how I like to look at it. Anyway. And you're probably thinking, well, Gratu Orloff, how could you vote for such a mean man that... very easy, very easy. It was very easy to do that because he's a great man. All right, so Cracked Magazine was YouTube and your stupid commercials. Okay. When I was in probably kindergarten, I first started noticing that Cracked Magazine, and in first grade I started actually obtaining Cracked Magazine and Mad Magazine whenever I was allowed to by my mother. So,
this uniform belonged to the pilot of my father's plane.
Yeah, that's what we were
The
talking
same green stuff we found on that sailor's uniform.
about. I gotta turn the sound down.
Maybe the same thing that happened to all the others has happened to my father.
I have a feeling he's okay, Marine
I
boy.
think what made Cracked kind of fall down in my eyes as the 70s wore on is just how it pandered to whatever was popular at the time and showed, like Happy Days was popular, so they put Fonzie on the cover. Then Jaws was popular, so they put the shark on the cover. And before long, you had Fonzie, the shark, the Star Wars cast, and it just Donnie and Marie, and just everybody together, like on every issue cover. But, so what we're looking at here is before that time, before that dark time. This is another copy bought. This is a childhood copy, Cracked number 103. Boy, I sure didn't treat these books very nice, but oh well. Oh, we need more light. So, I made a list. I've been making a list of things of comics that I'm looking for, that, people make these lists. These are the books I'd like to get during this year, kind of like New Year's resolutions, and I have a list of comics I'd like to get this year, and I don't really want to show it to you because then you guys will all go get those books and I won't be able to get them. I'll tell you after I get them. Right now, you are not allowed to know. I also wrote down things that all the cool YouTubers say so that I can have a little cheat sheet so I can sound like a professional YouTuber in the comic book community. So, okay, so I'll keep this handy as we go through the episode. So, now this is a raw comic. I prefer my comic books to be slabbed. I do not approve of comics that are raw. Raw is just disgusting. Who would want to actually open up a book and read it? That's just shocking. You want it. Now this is probably about a 9.4, and it presents well, even though it's not a 9.8. And let's see. And this was, I asked my mom if I could buy it, so I pulled the trigger and captured this grail back there in first grade. The heck is this horrible music? Tubi TV. Tubi TV's commercials have that horrible music that sounds like a broken windshield wiper. First time I heard that horrible music, that scratching kind of rap music, I was at the Forum 303 Mall, coming out of the mall, and this was probably the 80s, and I was hearing this horrible sound coming from a car. It sounded like there was something broken in the car, like something, the windshield wipers were malfunctioning or something, and it turned out to be a song by a guy named Herbie Hancock. So I don't know much about him. I think he's a well-respected musician, but I've learned to hate that man's name from that horrible sound. And then as the decades went by, I guess it's the sound of people ruining a turntable, scratching back and forth. I don't know. Okay, so did we already look at this issue? Look at this. Before, after. That's a Trump voter and a Biden voter. So I would... Okay, so what is the deal here? I'm trying to see when this came out. September 72. So we count back 2 months. August, July of 72. So this was a comic that came. That's probably why it's so beat up. It was kept in my little bag that we took on the airplane, and it was all across every motel we stopped at as we traveled across the country. We were coming back from Germany, where my dad was stationed, to Hampton, Virginia, where I would live for my second grade year, the 72-73 school year. So this came out the summer before that, and we already saw this issue. Yeah, we already saw this issue. Remember, the class of 72. All right, we saw this issue, so that's 109. No, 103, I can't even see, man. Okay. 104 is The Godfather. Now, Mad Magazine had a similar cover to this. It's called The Rodfather instead of The Godfather. Beautiful. I mean, John Severin's artwork is just beautiful. Number 104, October 72. Now, this one, I believe that I purchased this. This one would have been purchased in Virginia. Sure enough. Wouldn't you just love to have a fake faucet? It's such a hilarious gag gift. Man. This Sagebrush comic strip from John Severin strikes me as something that maybe was created as an attempt to get a syndicated comic strip, but not entirely sure on that. This cartoon by Vic Martin, Houdini, was always in this during that time period. Fat Magazine. What is this? Look, it's Fat Magazine. The magazine of epic proportions. Oh, speaking of a grail, I guess you'd call it a grail, a magazine I've wanted since I was in first grade. I know you're almost 59 years old. Wouldn't you consider that a grail? Show you. I always admired the artwork on this issue of King Size Crack. Do you see it there with the arrows pointing? It's made to look like a box of detergent. And the artwork by Severin is beautiful. It really looks like a box of detergent, and it also kind of anticipates the wacky packages that would be coming out really soon, maybe a year later, or it may have actually been coming out in the market at this point, like and I just wasn't aware of them until like the third series, or whatever series they were on when in 1973. It could have been the fifth series where I discovered, and then I became a fanatic for wacky packages. But anyway, so I've been wanting that since like 1972, seeing that, and I looked it up on eBay, and there was one for $10, and I mentioned it to my wife. She says, "Well, I'll just go ahead and order that." And I was like, "What?" So she ordered, and it's supposed to be here Monday. Now, if I don't know, there isn't work Monday. I know there's not work on Monday. They've closed things for another reason. But anyway, so I'll be able to show you that, and I don't think many of you will even care. But it's a Grail, so my wife pulled the trigger on this book that presents well. So, and it's a key issue for me, and it's raw. And thank you, comic book community, comic fam, I should say. Oh my gosh. Look at a big city newspaper office. Look at that. There's Dick Tracy and Little Orphan Annie. This Marine Boy cartoon that I'm watching is a cartoon I never saw as a kid. Hold on. I became acquainted with, in second grade, Speed Racer, which was a Japanese cartoon. And there were other Japanese cartoons that played on syndicated TV, syndicated on independent TV stations in the 60s. There was Astro Boy, which is phenomenal. There's Marine Boy, which is great, and I'm discovering it here. One of the good things about YouTube. There are good things about YouTube, obviously. But commercializing the moon. Hey, I just figured out something. I was reading someone. UFO was a great TV show, right? About 71, right? From Jerry and Sylvia Anderson, the people that had done all the puppet shows like Thunderbirds and all that. Well, there's UFO. It's live action. Tremendous. You got to watch it. And then there's then a few years later, they have Space 1999. Apparently, Space 1999 was originally intended to be a sequel to UFO, and it was going to be called UFO 1999. Did you know that? Because if you look in UFO, they have a base on the moon that scouts for the incoming UFOs attacking Earth, and supposedly some time is supposed to have passed, and then the base on the moon has gotten larger. And then the moon gets blasted out of orbit, and then that was the sequel to. And there's nothing. There's a lot of similarities in the look of the shows, and there's nothing that in Space 1999, from what I read, I'd have to go and rewatch the series, that contradicts UFO. So technically, they're kind of together. And then there was a movie that used to play all the time on Channel 11 when I was a kid, called Journey to the Far Side of the Sun, and that came out before. That was a theatrical movie, and that came out before UFO. And the thought is, okay, and that was a prequel to UFO. So there's like Journey to the Far Side of the Sun, and then further on the timeline, the UFO series, then further on the timeline, Space 1999, and that's really fascinating. And it's just kind of one of those things, like, you can watch The Prisoner. And then, where the secret agent quits and is immediately captured and sent to a prison island because what he knows. And if you look, although people have denied it, Patrick McNee said no, but if you look at the series Danger Man, which was called Secret Agent Man, the Johnny Rivers song that was on the American release of that series, but it's called Danger Man in England originally. That series, you could consider that to be the career of that secret agent that was gassed and taken to that prison that quits at the very dramatic opening credits of The Prisoner. That they're together. I've always thought that was almost like one series. just two different phases of his life. Because it's the same actor playing him, and he plays it exactly the same way. And the Johnny Rivers song, giving you a number and taking away your name, and then that's the whole point of the prisoner. It's like, I'm not a number. Anyway, I don't know, just me pontificating. Nixon's home movies. That's funny. He's not an evil man, they say on the TV. I don't think Nixon was evil. I think he... Of course, I read the Godfather parody years before I actually got to see the movie. Look at them getting shot to pieces. What great movies. They just don't make movies like this anymore, do they? 103, 104. Okay. You'll see as these issues progress, each one looks a little bit nicer because I'm a few months older. See, this one doesn't look as beat up as those other ones. This is great. Look at all. John Severin's always great at drawing monsters. Anyway, this as we flip through these, ooh, is this a reprint? It's John Severin doing a little superhero called Super Hawk. And apparently he's a World War II hero and he's going to Vietnam. Now, I'm not sure if this was... this reeks of... Okay, the way the captions are, this reeks of a story that was reprinted that was probably cracked right around the time that Batman was on television, 6 or 7 years before. That's what that strikes me as, but I could be wrong. Here's oh, this is a parody of a science fiction movie that has been forgotten. I think it was called ZPG, Zero Population Growth, which is... But they're calling it ZPG. Never seen the movie. It's one of those movies that just has been completely forgotten. I gotta turn this down again. Okay. Will I be able to stand up? Oop.
Hello, Christopher Robin.
Hold on a second.
Are you looking for something? Oh, look, a little something a bear would like.
Like sugar-sweetened great honey crunches cereals. And there's a new space orbiter inside. Put it together and pretend you're flying through outer space.
Okay.
New orbiter free in specially marked boxes of great honey crunches cereals.
Now, this is kind of starting to show what I'm talking about. See, they already did the parody of The Godfather a few issues back, and now there's another issue. This is not time for Godfather Part 2 yet, so they're already kind of milking what's popular. Again, Mad never did that. Mad would, oh, my wife's calling. I better go see what she's needing. Yes, Drew the dog. I need to feed Drew and go see what my wife's up to. Let me, hold on a second. I'll let the TV entertain you. Okay, Drew, you need some food, huh? This cartoon is actually from about the exact time period that that magazine came out, the Saturday Superstar movie. So that just happened. I didn't do that on purpose. It just happens to be the way things happen to flow here in the Hotel Orloff. I'll be right back.
If I only had me spinach.
Ladies and gentlemen, step right up and experience the wonder of Pooky Park. At Pooky Park, you'll enter a world of imagination and adventure like never before. And oh, what a magical place it is. Meet our friendly puppet pals. Our colossal howdy-doody type puppets roam freely and are here to make your visit unforgettable. You can play with them, have a chat, and they'll even sit with you while you enjoy a tasty treat. But beware. When the park siren sounds, it's time to run for your lives. The chase is on. Excitement is at a whole new level when the puppets start chasing you. Stay on your toes, because if they catch you, you might just become one of them forever. Frozen in puppet glory, living an eternal life of strings and wooden whimsy. It's a transformation like no other. But don't let that frighten you. It's all in the spirit of fun. Just look at the joy on their faces as they run for dear life from these massive marionettes. You can hear the laughter and the screams of sheer terror. Oh yes, they're big. They're a tad bit intimidating, but that's the magic of Pooky Park. Our customers can't help but return, no matter how frightened they may be. It's a unique experience that brings families closer together. Quite literally, we've had countless customers confess that they've never felt so attached. Join the puppet parade and become part of the spectacle that draws thousands of visitors from far and wide. But folks, be ready, because when that siren wails, it's time to move. Can you outrun the lively puppets and escape their magic? It's a one-of-a-kind adventure that'll have your heart racing, but don't let the fear deter you. The thrill of escape is what makes Pooky Park so memorable. Pooky Park isn't just about puppets. We've got thrilling rides, delicious snacks, and fun games for the kids, ensuring endless laughter and joy. And when you're thirsty, our top-notch soda jerks are ready to serve you the finest refreshments, perfect for quenching your thirst after a day of excitement. There's something for everyone. Embrace the adventure and face your fears. It could be a lifetime of strings attached, but who could resist such a captivating adventure? Gather your family and join us at Pooky Park, where the magic of imagination meets the thrill of escape. Make memories you'll cherish for a lifetime.
Okay, I'm back. Ugh. All right, the world of Cracked magazine. And we're going to, I have requests to show more of Pete the Cat. I have requests to show DVDs and Aurora model kits. I'm going to show comics, and I'm going to show, where's my, oh. We're going to look at some keys. Anyway, wonderful John Severin cover, but Mad, when they did a parody, it was just on one issue. What got bad with Mad is when Mad was sold to Warner Communications. The thing about Mad is, like, if a movie came out, about 4 months, 3 months, at least 3 months after the movie came out and was out of theaters, Mad would do its parody because they needed to go see the movie and maybe draw sketches while they're in the theater and then do the parody and the magazine. But once it was sold to Warner Communications, if it was a Warner Brothers movie, they made sure they had the parody of that movie in Mad day and date when the movie was opened in theaters. Like Superman the movie in 1978 was a Warner movie, and so Mad had Christopher Reeve's Superman parody out when that movie opened in theaters. And the whole point of being a parody magazine is you're making fun of things, but if it's a property, you know, so it's like Warner executives wanted Mad to do a parody as publicity for the movie, then you're not going to really be able to tear him. Not that Superman the movie deserved it, but a movie that's really bad, if Warner had a bad movie, they can't really be merciless to it and talk about what a piece of garbage it is if it's owned by the parent company. So anyway, here's a great cover with Sylvester P. Smith as the janitor, and he's the guy, the Cracked magazine mascot, and here he is doing voodoo on Alfred E. Newman, the mascot of Mad. And boy, I didn't take very good care of this one either. Who was this? Oh yeah, Charles Rodriguez, one of America's top humor artists and longtime contributor to Cracked, as well as most other important magazines in America, Playboy, Cosmopolitan, True, and National Lampoon, to name a few, leads off in our first series of guest appearances by America's top artists. See, he was a great artist. Look at that guy, that artwork. Yeah, Charles Rodriguez was another artist that was that started working for Cracked, I guess, about this point. And this is the Partridge Family, the Pot-Rich family. Which had been on TV. Is that a reprint, or was it really? Okay, I think this was just a little bit terrible music. Okay. This is fantastic. Hold on a second. Now, John Severin was really into militaria and military history. Look, this Crack looks at World War I sky fighters, but then you turn over to this incredible double-page spread. Look at that, all the planes. You can tell he had a blast drawing these 2 pages. This is a parody of the Robert Redford movie, The Candidate, that came out about that time. Okay, this is now March of 73, probably. Yeah. So I'm still in my 2nd grade year. This is another one of those, like the one that's coming in the mail to me, that's that king-size Cracked that looks like a detergent box. This is Cracked chicken soup, and this very much it's not just reminiscent of Andy Warhol. To me, that's not my first thought. To me, it predicts the wacky package. In fact, very much so, because look on the back. This would be worth getting a color copy of. It's you're supposed to cut that out and wrap it around one of your mom's Campbell's chicken soup cans, and then you've got this living wacky package. Crack Guide to Las Vegas. Yeah, they're offering some of their annuals. See, that's the one I'm getting in the mail soon. Maybe it'll come tomorrow. That would be cool. I don't know. The mailman seems to... The snow is literally... It comes up pretty much to my knees at some points, and the mailman trudges through it, but I guess that's their motto. Either rain or sleet or whatever, nuclear holocaust, whatever, will keep us from delivering the mail, right? That's issue 108. Pretty much from this point on, I'm going to have pretty much a complete run all through the 70s, I think. I don't think I missed any issues. 109. Now they're starting to look a little better. They're not as beat up, you know. Oh, Ralph Nader. Yeah, they got All in the Family was, of course, popular. Flip through and see if there's anything that's worth showing you. Oh, I guess they had a revival of the Dick Van Dyke Show at this time. Is that correct? That can't possibly be. What happened? No, this is just saying that what would have happened, like what would have happened if we came back to the Dick Van Dyke Show. Okay. No, okay. All right, so now we've got a parody of Columbo. Oh, look at that. Oh no, do we have to start all over again, says the monkey. Well, I hear that NATO is doing some exercise with 90,000 troops. Well, that sounds very promising. I'm glad I'm not draft age. We've got to get Trump back, man. And there are people. So Trump had, I think, 52% of the vote here in Virginia on Monday night. I believe, yeah, he even gets the, John Severn even gets the little cross-eyed, lazy eye kind of thing there. Columbo. Okay, so now we get to the Poseidon Adventure, which is the kind of the beginning of the disaster movies. I mean, Airport in 1970 technically was the first of them, and then the Poseidon Adventure in 72, and then it got real big in 74 with Airport 75, Towering Inferno, and Earthquake. Yeah, there were a lot of hijackings. Well, I don't know if there were a lot, but it seemed like there were a lot. McCloud was McCloud. I'll show the Mads, you know, also. Okay. Well, here's there was a trend. There was a movie called Blackula about Dracula and an African-American Dracula. Or he was an African Dracula. He wasn't African-American. So they're predicting that there will be a Black Frankenstein movie with Bill Cosby playing him. There was a movie called Blackenstein. They're predicting things that actually happened. Like there was a blaxploitation version of Jekyll and Hyde called Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde. they didn't, I don't think they ever had a black werewolf or a black mummy. Let's see, Black Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, well, that's when all the Shaft, Superfly, the blaxploitation movies were coming out. The movies with Pam Grier, they were all a lot of fun. Here is Bill Ward art. Bill Ward, one of the great artists. I saw a picture of Bill Ward the other day. I put it on Instagram. The guy looked like a movie star. Most comic book artists don't look like movie stars. So it kind of shocked me. All right, so that's Cracked 111. These Cracked magazines seem to predict a lot of things that happened eventually.
Space Dust sizzling candy in your mouth. It's out of this world. Far out. Space Dust, available in outer space or your local store.
All right.
Wednesday.
Here's Cracked number 112 with a Kung Fu parody. Now the magazines are starting to look a lot better, a lot glossier. I'm getting to be a little bit older, taking better care of them. Let me see, we're probably into 3rd grade at this point. October 73, yep. So that would have actually been August of 73. So this, I think this came out right as school was starting of my 3rd grade year.
This week, TV Guide focuses on George Kennedy as the Blue Knight. When Joseph Wombaugh's best-selling novel...
Yeah, Bill Ward becomes a pretty consistent artist in Cracked around this time. And of course, John Severin does the parody of Kung Fu, which is called Kung Fu. Here's 113. You gotta look at this, how Drew is watching me. She's watching. I'm holding up Cracked magazine. Look at Drew watching me. See that? Alright. Yes, did I mention it's Thursday night? Oh, I really felt bad. I wasn't on 4 Color Fossils last night, the Wednesday night show. So my wife wasn't feeling good. And, look at that. No kidding. And anyway, that's this Bill Ward. Something about his art, even when it's G-rated, you know, there's just always something kind of lascivious about his artwork. Isn't that embarrassing when you can't get a shopping cart out? It's stuck, and you're like trying to get it out, and you're looking around. I hope no one's noticing. I can't get the shopping cart free. It's embarrassing. This has to be a reprint, man. Because why would they still be doing Tiny Tim in 1973? That's about it. I think this is... Yeah, I'm thinking that this particular article is reprinted from late 60s. Looks like they're doing that pretty consistently. Like, what is that? Oh, they're doing a, like, what if Don Quixote was made today as like a modern Western? It's not really a parody of any particular movie. It's them just imagining something. Okay. So around this time, Marvel started up a humor magazine called Crazy. And so Crazy also did a parody of the Waltons around this time. The Waltons took place during the Depression, the family on Walton Mountain, and I guess they had once been kind of prosperous. They owned the mountain, right? But things had fallen down for them, and they're a giant family, and that was a show that I actually watched. It's pretty popular, you know, it was nostalgia for 40 years before. So that would be like, kind of like today, people watching a show that takes place in the 1980s. Because now the 1930s is 90 years ago, but this magazine is, well, this magazine's over 50 years old. I'm just realizing, yeah, oh man, that's just not right. My childhood comics should not be 50 years old, man. What is going on here? What happened? January 74. 74 to 84, 84 to 94, 94 to 2004, 2004 to 2014, 2014 to 2024. Oh, shoot. This is exactly 50 years old. Wow. What happened? In some ways, it seems just like yesterday. In some ways, it seems like forever ago. All the things I've been through in my life since then, you don't even know. All the friends that didn't make it this today, you know, and friends that have changed and gone different directions, good friends that I just never saw again because my family moved. Back during this time period, if you moved, there wasn't Facebook or Instagram or text messaging, or you move 20 miles away, well, now it's now a long distance phone call, and you call your friend, it's going to be $25 and your parents are going to hit the roof, you know. Now with cell phones, there are no long distance phone calls. You can talk to someone in England, someone in Honduras for hours, and it's just like a regular phone call. So now you don't have to lose touch with your friends, although people probably still do when they move. I mean, now you can stay in touch with people everywhere. I mean, this show, I communicate regularly with about 300 people. It's a very small show. I've got, what do I have? I've been getting a lot of subscriptions, people subscribing. I was up to 682, but then I lost one. I think I'm 681 now. Some people get offended when you mention Donald Trump being a great president. It's like, I've got to unsubscribe to this person. But good riddance to those people. Whatever. Okay, MASH. Some people love that show. The movie, it was so different from the TV show in tone. It was a dark comedy. I mean, yeah, you still got radar in both the movie and the TV show, and you've basically got the theme song, but Alan Alda with his the guys, the doctors, the surgeons in the movie were so much better and so oh well. Also, what I didn't like, is why in the Korean War would guys have hair like that. I mean, even in 50 years ago, I knew that people didn't have 1970s hair. But Happy Days, when it first started, the guys had 50s haircuts. But by season 3, they were like, well, we're big stars now. We're not going to wear these uncool 50s haircuts. And then they just started growing. And then this character called Chachi appears. And he's got hair longer than the Beatles had. And that just didn't happen. Okay, so 112. Wait, are these out of order? No. 113. Yeah, they're in the right order. Yeah, buddy. Okay, around this point, we're now in we're in what they call the Bronze Age of comics. I call it the late Nixon Age of comics. Oh, look at this. Let's make America beautiful again. Kind of reminiscent of Trump's slogan. And they have a whole poster of it. You can take the cover off and make that poster. This is when the Watergate scandal was going on, and I think that what Nixon did, or what had knowledge of, is nothing compared to what Biden's doing and stuff. A look at a UFO. But oh well, it's just whatever you want to think. Now I have to rethink all of history, having seen how much the oh man, they have a Nazi Monopoly game in here called Blitzkrieg. Look at this. Ukraine plundered. You learn a lot about history looking at moronic humor magazines from the past. More Bill Ward art. You can just see how he draws all women to look like Dolly Parton. Oh, this is Billy Jack, of course, is Silly Jack. Yes, indeed. So we're up to, that is May 74. That's the end of my 3rd grade year. Oh, wow. Now we're getting in. See, I told you that this is going to be a walk through the 70s. Now we're up to the $6 Million Man, which they call the $6 Billion Man. I'd like to watch that again. It's probably on Tubby TV. I refuse to call it Tubi TV. I just call it Tubby TV. Because you get Tubby sitting there watching Tubby TV all day. I'd watch more of it, but my wife doesn't like commercials. Yeah, by this point, the magazine is starting to become kind of pristine. I mean, no, not exactly. I was a 3rd grader, but by the time I was in 3rd grade, I treated the magazines and my comics very well. And we're up to October 74, so this is 4th grade. Yeah, the $6 Million Man was like the biggest thing. I'm wondering, because I saw on my Roku, they have a little ad that says The Bionic Woman, which was a sequel to The $6 Million Man, is playing on Tubi TV, so. Oh, and then this movie came out, which I there was not a single person I ever met that had ever seen The Three Musketeers. The Three Musketeers came out, and then at the same time they made another movie, The Four Musketeers. They made them at the same time, and then released them. They staggered the release. And that's apparently what the same producers were trying to do with Superman and Superman 2, film them at the same time. But then they scrapped the first director and went in, brought a new director in, and reshot a lot of the footage, changed up Superman 2. Oh well. This is what I'm talking about. This is when it started to get, and it seemed like it was different from Mad. But looking back on cracked magazine history, I think in the 60s they did that too, have Man from U.N.C.L.E. like on a lot of covers. But see, it's the Three Musketeers, but they've got David Carradine from Kung Fu, and they've got the $6 Million Man here, and they got Billy Jack here. So they're continuing to exploit the the characters that are popular, in pop culture. Oh, look, it's an American Graffiti parody. Mad also did an American Graffiti parody, but they did that in the issue there was an issue of Mad where it was just a hand with the middle finger sticking up, and it said the #1 magazine. And a lot of those magazines were returned to the publisher. The newsstand dealers said, we're not putting that out on the stands. Just a life-size hand shooting the finger, and a lot of people that subscribed to Mad opened up that envelope, and the parents were like, what kind of trash are you reading? And they had to send apology letters, and so there's not as many of that particular issue of Mad on the market for you to buy today, because a lot of them were returned. And apparently to the World War II generation, to people the age of, the original EC people, Al Feldstein and William Gaines, that extended middle finger meant nuts to you, not F blah 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 you, which by the 70s it meant one thing. It was the F word. But back in supposedly in World War II, it didn't mean the same thing. But then some things have been kind of changed for history. What was the World War II? Man, I'm not fully awake right now, but there was some Japanese general was demanding surrender of a ship, right? And you got to tell me in the comments below. Commander said, well, what's your response? And he just said, nuts. But that's not what he really said. But that sounds just like, nuts. Like, that's what he said in, like in other words. But that's not what he really said. But it sounds better in history books, Oh, and snafu, you heard that word a lot. Situation normal, all fouled up is what the World War II vets will tell you. It meant all fouled up. No, it didn't mean all fouled up. That's what they told their wives and children later, and it was all, they had, the F word existed in World War II. Anyway, did I just see Dick Tracy? Did I see? I sure did. What are the old TV and movie detectives doing today? Look at Dick Tracy there, the aged Dick Tracy. My goodness. Oh, Batman and Robin. Look at them older. Oh, it's the Filmation 1967 Flash cartoon. Comic Book Memories last Saturday morning did a whole show about the Flash. I always loved the Flash. Okay, Kojak. And they put Telly Savalas on the cover as well. My brother Mike pointed out to me that they always misspell magazine. They have Mazagine. That's one of their trademarks. Oh, a parody of Papillon. I was telling my wife, I need to show you this movie, Papillon. And she says, that sounds too depressing. I said, no, it's a great movie. Ooh, they have a parody of Chariots of the Gods. Remember that trend in the 70s? That ancient astronauts visited us and helped build the pyramids and all that. And ooh, they had cracked. I forgot about this. I never saw anyone with this. They had cracked binders and spirals. I need to look for that. More Bill Ward art. He was in every issue. When the world runs out of food, well, they're meeting in Davos right now, right? The World Economic Forum. They're saying, everyone's just gonna eat bugs, right? And they're talking about this new disease that I'm hearing they want to release in March, just in time to mess things up. I don't know. I hear all these conspiracy theorists, but it seems like these conspiracy theorists just keep winding up correct. Wait, did I show you this? I think I missed out on some issues. I sure did. Yeah, I didn't show you this one, did I? With Canon? I didn't. Are these out of order? William Conrad, that played Cannon, was the original voice of Marshal Matt Dillon on the Gunsmoke radio show, but he was not the right physical stature to play Marshal Matt Dillon on when it became a TV show, so he wound up being replaced by James Arnaz. Yeah, this is another example. This was actually a few issues after the Kung Fu parody. And see, they're bringing Kung Fu back because one parody, that issue must have sold so well. Now they have an interview with David Carradine, or David Carrot Seed. Now my friend Tom, who passed away right before I started doing this TV show, and you should have seen his collection. Just unbelievable. I've never seen anything quite like that. But anyway, he interviewed David Carradine for Psychotronic magazine. He was friends with him. Okay, and here is the parody of The Sting. There's a Mad cover, very similar to this, because, this is basically the movie poster design that they've tinkered with and done a parody of. I'm sorry I'm showing these out of order. Here's Bill Ward drawing pets. And of course, he's drawing pets, but they're going to wind up looking like that. Because he's just a pinup artist,
The guy at the counter indicates 0 radiator. It's just a plain little ant again. Yes.
I call it pinup art, but they want to call it good girl art, Okay, so now we're finally, I think Crack did a parody of Beneath the Planet of the Apes earlier, but this is the first time. This is a parody after Planet of the Apes became a big deal in the 70s. And did I just see James Bond? Oh, this is Chinatown, China Clown. Chinatown was a great movie. The director, that's Jack Nicholson. But for a second, I thought it was Sean Connery. It's not really the best caricature of Jack Nicholson. I'm hearing that Jack Nicholson has become very, very, and he's kind of not doing well mentally. It's kind of deteriorating, but I don't know if that's true. This is actually a parody of the TV series, the Planet of the Apes TV series, that they have an iron-on. That's another thing that was popular in the 70s, is iron-on designs. And so you would have to, where was the iron-on? Oh, here it is. So you'd have to iron the back cover. It would say, if you're cracked, you're happy, and it would be on your shirt. Yeah, nice drawings here of the apes. 123. Okay. What is going on? The Godfather is this Godfather Part 2? Yeah. Okay, we're up to May 75. So now it's the sequel to The Godfather, Godfather Part 2. Although it's misleading because Marlon Brando was not in The Godfather Part 2. Oh, wait. This is before God. It looks like they're just making up what The Godfather Part 2 would be like. They've got apes in it. And this is May 75. Oh yeah, Godfather Part 2 was out. So that really would be February 75. Okay. Godfather Part 2 was out. But I don't think they'd seen it. They probably had to do the parody several months in advance to get it published. Yeah, because we're getting up to about the time that Jaws came out now. Jaws came out in the summer of 75. So we're halfway through the 1970s. So we kind of are doing a history of the 1970s through the eyes of Cracked Magazine. And then here, of course, is the disaster movie craze summed up in one cover design. And it's really, ooh, that's a little creepy, isn't it? Talk about cracked predicting things. Okay, so obviously this represents the movie Earthquake, and that's the Towering Inferno about a giant building that has a fire, but that's supposed to represent Airport 75, and they've got the plane crashing into the building and the fire, and this is 1975 and 75 to 85. About 25 years before 9/11 happened. This is a kind of a cool, man, I need to be careful what I say. This is a really great, there's a lot of people on YouTube that say, kind of cool. I don't want to say that. Anyway, I like the caveman green, the green caveman. Something about it, it's a little yellow submarine-like, but actually better. Okay, what is going on here? Crack presents future insect monster movies. Oh my gosh. Overlooked disaster movies. Yeah, the disaster movie craze was something. Okay, what is this? Oh, it's a parody of Earthquake, Earthshake, which was released in Sensurround, which was some kind of, they installed speakers all around the theater that would make your seat vibrate, and you would actually feel like you were in an earthquake, and so I don't know what kind of frequency the sounds were or something, but my mom wouldn't let me go see the movie because she was thinking it could damage my hearing or something ridiculous. But, you know, she worried about things, but sometimes she was right. A lot of times, I mean. Actually. And So, the next issue is the parody of the Towering Inferno. And I don't know how many movies were released in Cincerone. There was Midway, was released in Cincerone, World War II movie, and then the Battlestar Galactica TV movie that the pilot for the TV show, they released it in theaters with Cincerone, Towering Inferno. That was a weird thing. It's like, you just seen the movie. It was just slightly altered. The thing to do is show it in the theater first, then put it on TV. Don't show it on TV and then put it in the theater. That's what they did with the pilot for Buck Rogers. They released it in theaters, put a little opening credits to kind of look like a James Bond movie and make it a little bit more PG. And then a little bit later, put that same movie on television and then go with the series. And that's, it feels like it's not as, that you're not ripping the audience off quite as much. Oh my gosh. I'm just looking through my childhood here. It's just, it's kind of neat. Yeah, Towering Inferno, amazing. Oh, and now, you got to understand, Star Trek was a 1960s TV show, but it was far more popular in the early to mid 1970s than it was when it was originally aired, because it came out in syndication, and the next generation, the kids my age, discovered it on Saturday morning cartoons, and on when you got home from school, they would be running it. So now Star Trek makes the front cover of Cracked. In issue 127, September 1975, which was actually, you have to count back 2 months, so that would be July of 75. We were still in San Antonio and about to move to Tacoma, Washington when this came out. The likenesses are good. The problem is both of them are wearing the wrong color uniforms. But, you know, what can I say? The same time, Mad did a Star Trek cover, but they had Star Trek as a musical. I remember they were dancing with Alfred E. Newman with Vulcan ears on the cover. So anyway, here's Star Trek. Mad had done a Star Trek parody in the 60s called Star Blech. And this is Star Tracks. About 10 years ago, a TV show came on the air that was watched by thousands. Unfortunately, to remain on the big tube, you have to be watched by millions. Well, the show died, but not its popularity. Today, more people than ever before are turning on their TV sets to see Star Treks. Space, the last place to go. These are the adventures of the starship Centipede, sent on a special all-expense-paid 5-year mission. Its purpose, to examine new planets, to look for different civilizations, and to go tiptoeing boldly to places where man has never gone before. And of course, this was an old joke. Place where man is, of course, he's going in the ladies' room. So, okay. But it's still wonderful. Here's the parody of Airport 75. So yes, they are touching what was big. $6 Million Man, Airport 75, Star Trek, all of these things. They're like, it's like they have my childhood bedroom bugged, and they're listening to me and my inner thoughts and what I really love and putting it on the cover. Here, this is a parody of Capone. Okay. I know there was a movie around this time called Dillinger that was put out by AIP, and boy, that was great. Because the actor looked just like John Dillinger, but there was a movie called Capone, and man, I guess they put it out because The Godfather was popular, but I don't think I've ever seen a 1970s movie about Al Capone. Interesting. I had to look that up. Anyway, it probably wasn't very good, but that Dillinger movie, that was really good. Look for that. That has, man, I'm drawing a blank. The name of the actor, he's a great actor that played Dillinger. Warren Oates looked exactly like Dillinger, man. Okay, now we get to the probably one of the biggest deals of the 1970s is the release of Jaws, and that was the summer of 75, but it doesn't get into the magazine until November of 75. You got to count back 2 months, so that's October, September. So September of 75, this magazine I bought in Tacoma, Washington at the Base Exchange. Just about everything you're going to see during this time period I bought at the Base Exchange, because that was about the only place I went. The PX there on the base at, what was the name of that? I don't remember the Fort Madigan, or was it Madigan Army Medical Center, something like that. That's where I lived. We lived in some kind of fancy old house that was supposed to have been like, I think, a house where generals had once lived or something. My father at that time was a full colonel. I don't know. It was an older house from very, very old. Okay, whatever. You don't care about that. Here's a parody of Streets of San Francisco, which was television's answer to Dirty Harry, basically. Okay, Jaws. Now, we're about done with this show because I don't think it'll last. The memory on my phone only goes about an hour and 18 minutes. So it's going to just stop any second in the middle of a sentence. So see you later, everybody. And anything I get from here on is a bonus. There's Dynamite. There's Jimmy J.J. Walker. Good Times. That was a show that I've watched later, but I never really watched at the time. But he was gigantically popular. They have a parody of the French Connection too. Let's see what they call it. Good Times, and they just spelled times differently. But it's John Severin. What a great artist. Okay, that's correct. 130. 130. It's going to take a long time to go through all these cracked magazines. I may do something different next episode. Hold on. Maybe I should go a little quicker. Okay, now here's where I'm talking about. Now they do the parody of The Godfather Part 2 and Jaws. They're bringing Jaws back just to sell more magazines. So this is what I'm talking about, how they keep recycling the trends. But it's still fun because the magazine's art is great. Holy smoke. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the billboard art being